Maintenant, nous allons avoir notre troisième keynote speaker, qui est directeur exécutif de Insurance Europe et aussi secrétaire général de la Global Federation of Insurance Associations. Je vous propose d'accueillir Madame Michaela Koller.
Bonjour. Et j'aimerais tout d'abord remercier le président Mohamed Mensala de m'avoir invité. Je suis heureuse de contribuer aux discussions portant sur le rôle de l'assurance dans un monde en évolution rapide. Et félicitations aussi à mon cher ami Bachir Badou, qui représente non seulement la Fédération marocaine, mais qui est aussi trésorier du comité exécutif de la Fédération mondiale. Félicitations. Félicitations d'avoir mobilisé la communauté mondiale, Bachir, et ainsi d'avoir contribué au succès de cet excellent événement. Le fait que le rendez-vous célèbre désormais son 10e anniversaire est preuve même de son succès. The title of your conference sets the scene appropriately. What is indeed the role of insurance in an uncertain world? The world is rapidly changing, and we have heard that from all the speakers today, and we have many challenges to tackle. Climate change, technological acceleration, changing demographics, macroeconomic and geopolitical pressures. And these challenges lead in turn to various protection gaps. Toyonari has just mentioned the Chifia report where we listed them: pensions, cyber, health, natural catastrophes. It is very timely and important that this event focuses on how insurers can help closing those protection gaps. You have asked me today to focus more on digital innovation, automation, and the usage of data, and how the insurance sector could use digitized approaches to address these gaps. More quality data combined with innovative technologies such as artificial intelligence can assist insurers to better identify, monitor, and mutualize risks, including emerging risks and risks that are currently still uninsurable. Both established actors of the industry, the incumbents, and new actors, the insurtechs, should be able to use these innovations and to improve their services to consumers, increase insurability, and cover more risks. As is often the case with the introduction of new technologies, these need to be tested and supported. And one way to boost the safe use of new technologies is the introduction of various innovation hubs or sandboxes launched by regulators and supervisors. And in Europe, we have seen this in the last few years in various countries. The benefits are obvious. Hubs are providing ongoing dialogue and guidance for compliance. Sandboxes are excellent tools that enable testing, and they are enhancing funding opportunities, and both encourage transparency in regulatory processes. There is not a uniform approach amongst EU countries on sandboxes and innovation hubs. The practices vary, and even sometimes the definition. But as an insurance industry, we are supportive of sandboxes and innovation hubs, and we believe it is important that they are open to all market participants, including incumbents, to fully reap the benefits of innovation. One indispensable element of closing protection gaps is, however, insurance access to and use of data. Data is and always has been paramount for the insurance business model. Data is key to assess risk, to set premiums, to abide by prudential requirements, to cover future claims, and also for fraud detection, sorry. So what we do with data is increasingly relevant, and in the EU we have also established now data sharing platforms. There is an EU digital finance platform, a European Forum for Innovation Facilitators, and they exchange information between market players and authorities. The good thing is here that authorities can in fact share data that they have already collected from market participants. They aggregate it and then share it in a safe environment with the industry for innovation purposes. We are very supportive of these platforms, as data sharing between authorities can reduce significantly the reporting burden on our industry. The EU has also the ambition to become a data-driven economy that promotes innovation, and in that respect, it aims to create what we call common European data spaces. There are a number of strategic fields where they are now proposed, for example, on finance, on health, on agriculture, on manufacturing, energy, and on mobility. Some of them are currently being discussed amongst EU legislators, for example, the European Health Data Space or open finance, while others are in the pipeline, for example, on energy and mobility data spaces. The insurance sector obviously supports these EU ambitions, as the exponential increase in cross-sectoral use of data is a huge opportunity, not only for insurers, but also for their customers, and it could help us narrow various protection gaps. However, there are challenges also related to the use of data. Despite the general recognition that data is a driver of innovation and growth, insurers' use of consumers' data is increasingly under scrutiny from some EU policymakers, notably in the context of the industry using new technologies, AI, for example. In particular, there are concerns about the potential risks associated with insurers accessing data at a more granular level and conducting more individualized risk assessments and pricing. And as these initiatives tend to address horizontal issues, we have the challenge that many of the relevant policymakers are not so familiar with the insurance sector. They do not fully know how insurance works, and they sometimes don't understand how fundamental data, in fact, is for the insurers to cover the risk. This is why there is a growing trend and also a worrying trend to restrict insurers' access to data. And some politicians perceive a more refined data use as a risk of financial exclusion for consumers rather than an opportunity for innovation for insurers. So we are dealing with the challenge of convincing policymakers to not only develop an interest in insurance, but also to understand it better, so as to avoid that best intentions result in unintended and negative consequences. I would like to give you a couple of examples. We have, I spoke about the multitude of EU data spaces, and that also means that it increases the risk for policymakers to work in silos. These policymakers do not necessarily involve insurance experts or insurance supervisors, and consequently, there's a risk of lack of overview, especially on the impact these new developments have on the legislation of insurers. So let me take the European health data space. Insurers will not benefit from access to secondary health data. They will therefore not be able to use the data collected in this health data space for their pricing. And while insurers can still collect data from their customers through the traditional means of questionnaires, they will not be able to take advantage of the more refined data collected in the health data space. And that means there is really a lack for the insurance sector to have access to these new data hubs. There are also other instances where EU policymakers do not seem to truly promote the exchange of cross-sectoral data and data sharing across sectors. For example, in-vehicle data remains predominantly in the hands of car manufacturers. And this is also a missed opportunity for the insurance sector, as having access to this in-vehicle data could lead to better coverage, better risk protection, providing innovative services like theft notification services, advanced breakdown assistance, and real-time traffic management. It could also mitigate emerging risks, for example, when it comes to autonomous driving. Finally, regarding financial data sharing, the current EU legislative proposal on open finance, FITA, allows data sharing from a vast array of insurance business lines with parties outside the financial sector, but does not require that these parties also share their data with the insurance sector. So it is concerning that there could be no, or at least no full reciprocity if this is adopted, and an uneven playing field between the financial sector and other sectors would be established. So let me conclude. Digital innovation can bring many benefits for insurers, and it has the true potential to improve coverage against various protection gaps. Sandboxes and innovation hubs are a good way to foster experimentation and encourage cooperation between supervisors and the market. They should therefore be open to all market actors, including insurance. Insurers' access to data is a necessary condition to promote innovation. Without it, new products cannot be designed, existing products could not be priced, risks cannot be assessed, and prevention measures cannot be developed. It is therefore key that policymakers fully understand how insurance works when designing and implementing legislation, especially when it comes to innovative technologies, data use, and digitalization. This is why insurance regulators and supervisors should be fully involved in discussions on the digital regulatory framework. And this is why we as associations have a duty to reach out and explain the benefits and why insurance matters. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much for this speech, and thank you for sharing with us your point of view about this very important topic. And uncertainty is something that challenges all the industries, and particularly insurance industry, and your customers worldwide.